Hello, welcome to episode 10 of the Talkin' Rangers podcast. Today is Thursday, December 7th. I'm Bubbs alongside Joe. Joe, how's it going, man?
It's good, man. Again, just getting into I'd say a little over the quarter of the season out of the way. So we're getting to the part where a lot of the teams are kind of separating from like pretenders, contenders. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. But it's been a good start to the season.
Yeah, December is a pretty exciting month before the new year, and then the stretch run begins from there. The Rangers this week had a pretty solid week after we last spoke against Buffalo, where they lost that game 5-1. They were able to beat the Red Wings that Wednesday. Patrick Kane did not play in that game, but they were still able to beat the Red Wings 3-2 at home. And they've been kind of home, away over the last couple games. We'll start with that game in Nashville against the Predators, where the Rangers struggled to start. We could even do this, but before we even start that game, what were your thoughts on this past week? The three games that the New York Rangers were out there and were able to pick up some more wins, other than the other game against Ottawa, which was ugly.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't want to be like negative at all because of how well the team is playing. But my only thing is, I'm starting to see a lot more chances, I guess, that they're giving up. Like the defense hasn't been great over the last week or so. Last couple of games, I believe they've given up. I can't recall how many they gave up against the Red Wings, but I believe against the Predators, they must have given up at least
There's
three goals. I think they gave up 5 in back-to-back. I think they gave up 6.
6. Yeah.
It's been ugly. The defense has got to be better. I kind of feel bad. I feel like Shesterkin keeps getting the short end of the stick where they gave a couple goals against the Predators or the games that Quick played in, and I feel like the offense was able to kind of deodorize that where they still came out with the win, but then the game against the Predator or the Senators where they're giving up all these chances, they still score 2 goals, but they don't give the goal support, and it kind of goes on Igor. But I think Igor, he hasn't been great, or good. I wouldn't say he's been bad or great. I'd say he's been good. Not as good as I think he can be playing. But yet again, I mean, the scoring chances were ridiculous against the Senators. It was bad. But again, I think they're 8-5-1. Haven't lost back-to-back games this season. Hopefully I just didn't jinx that. But, they're a team that comes back. So I'm not too concerned. But again, you're in first place in the league, I believe, in the points percentage. So continue. They just got to tighten it up. And I mean, a lot of teams go through those rough stretches. So,
yeah, I agree too. I think they found ways to win this week, and they were even after that Buffalo game, they were able to win 3 straight. But they were all 1-goal wins, which is kind of the Rangers' way of doing things. They like to make games close. They haven't really had many of those.
They also I don't mean to cut you off. They never score empty nets. I was trying to say that they never. They always win the game by 1 goal. Never score empty nets.
Yeah, they haven't I feel like as a Ranger fan, I would like to see coming up and within the next couple games, one of these 4-1 wins where it's not that stressful and they just kind of dominate and beat up a team and overall play a good 60-minute game. But I agree. They're still playing good hockey. They're still finding ways to win. They're 18-5-1. I don't want to sit here and act like a spoiled fan that's complaining about a team that's only lost 6 games, but their defense has been, yeah, exactly. And their defense has been, it's been ugly over the last couple games, especially against Ottawa. And we'll get into it against Nashville, where they got off to a slow start. It's just they're giving way too many chances. I think Igor, because it's been a discussion amongst Ranger fans over the last couple weeks with the way Quick's been playing this year. Although I thought against San Jose, there was a couple plays that he probably would want back. There might have been a goal or two. I know one of the goals I thought it was the one-on-one where Miller was on the guy and he shot. Miller might have screened him, but it was still probably a save.
Kind of I know what you're talking about. That was kind of a weak goal.
Yeah, I feel like he probably would have saved that if he got that chance back. But Shesterkin's been under a little bit of pressure from the fan base, I feel like, because his numbers aren't great the last couple games, but a lot of it's been teams are getting such great chances. They're in transition. They're starting to a little bit beat us again, a little bit where we're kind of slow getting back, and there's been some odd man rushes, and just in the net front presence has just not been there over the last couple games, and there's just been so many shots. But I also feel like Igor has bailed us out a lot, where he's made a couple really, really good saves in these games that if he's not there, these could potentially be a 6-4 loss against Nashville, for example, as opposed to a 4-3 win. So what were your thoughts on the Nashville game? They got off to a slow start, but then offensively, they continued to do their thing. They continued to play well, and they were able to come back. They were down 2-0, came out in that second period, scored 3 goals, took the lead or tied it up, took it into the third period, and ended up finding a way to get the win on a Lindgren goal. And Trocheck continues to play well in this game. What were your takeaways from here? Obviously, defensively, not great, but we're able to muster up enough on offense.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I thought it was just a little shaky, just everywhere. Not just like the actual defense playing defense. I thought the neutral zone defense and the forwards weren't great. The first goal, again, unlucky. I mean, I'm pretty sure that was the one that there was a lucky bounce in the neutral zone, and then Coley's coming back, and then he tips it right to O'Reilly. That's a kind of an unlucky break, but again, they could be better defensively there. Second goal, I think Yost just walked in, ripped like a decent shot, but you go down 2-0. It's a little frustrating, but then my biggest takeaway though is again bad defense, but then the response I think is just as important or just as big as not playing well, but then being able to come back, which they did. I just think like what you're saying, but Trocheck was unbelievable in this game. Like he is having such a phenomenal season, and I am really impressed by Vincent Trocheck. I mean, his forechecking, his defense, it leads the league in faceoffs. Like every time I feel like you put Trocheck out there, he's going to win the faceoff, and he's just such a complete player, and I don't think he gets enough credit. Again, he does everything well, and I think he was like a big factor in that game. Obviously, Panarin, he's just doing himself. He's continuing his really good season. I thought Igor actually made a couple good saves in that game. He gave up the 3 goals, but he did make some key saves to kind of keep that game in the lead. Or I think they were down at one point when they're down 2-0. I think he made a pretty big save. But again, I don't think that game was as bad as the last couple of games defensively. But they got to come out earlier in that first period, play better defense. But again, they got the win. They came back. So
Yeah, I agree, and I like the adjustment to Lavia that changed up some of the lines during this game to provide a little bit of a spark, provide a little bit of boost going to that second period, and it ultimately ended up helping. But yeah, Trocheck's been so good this season. He's got 6 goals, 16 assists, 22 total points. Been great on faceoffs, the forecheck, like you mentioned, and I think too with Trocheck that maybe I'm noticing a little bit more this year, but maybe it's just because he's been so good, and he's one of those guys that even if he's not scoring a point in the game, you notice him walking away from these games, whether it's his forecheck, whether it's a little bit of his toughness. I think and I'll see here if you agree, I think he's got a little bit more of an edge to him this year. Like he's, even in some of those scrums, he's a little bit more tough, a little bit more physical. I think he's kind of got a little bit of more of that physicality vibe to him this season that he's giving off in some of these games as opposed to last year. Would you kind of agree with that too?
Yeah, I mean, even last year, I thought he was kind of like a get-beat player where he was going around bumping guys, getting into like the corners, and after the whistle, kind of like shoving guys around a little. But I think this year he's got a little bit more like juice. I feel like maybe it's the coaching staff or whatever it is, but like I thought he's been tremendous this year, and it's so awesome to see because he's on a good contract too. I think people are like, oh, terrible contract. Like I think he's only making like 5.5, and he should. Really, I don't want to jinx it with injuries or whatever, but like at this rate, I think he's going to be a point a game, and that would be insane. If he goes out and scores like 82 points this year, I wouldn't be shocked at all. But I'd be like, that's impressive out of a player. Where I wasn't really expecting that. I think I was more so expecting like a 60-point player. Again, I knew he was kind of good two-way, but again, he's been unbelievable. And I also want to talk about another guy in that line is Alexis Lafreniere. He's snake bitten. It is crazy. How many times a game is that guy robbed?
He could easily have. How many goals do you think he'd easily have? I mean, he's got 8 right now.
I think he's had 8, dude. There was I don't know if you remember. There's a couple plays, like at least 3 or 4 plays against the Red Wings. Where I mean, the game-winning goal that VC scored, he had a point-blank shot. It was saved, but they scored on it. There was another play in the Red Wings game where I think Trouba hit him backdoor and right in front of the net, robbed. Like it's crazy. He's getting so many chances. Like it's about time when he explodes. And I'm just that whole line is just playing unbelievable, and it's really impressive to see. But at the same time, though, it's like the other lines still haven't, I feel like, caught up to that line.
Yeah, I mean that line, I mean, it's one of the best. It's got to be. I mean, I don't really know exactly what every other line is doing in the National Hockey League, but it's got to be one of the biggest producing lines in the NHL right now with the way that they've gone out there. 5-on-5, they've produced obviously the most. The other line's a little bit more, not as much 5-on-5, but yeah, Lafreniere is. That's a good thing though. I think I view it as like, even though he's snake bit, he is still already has 8 goals. He's still getting all these chances. You're seeing him finally take that next step where pretty much every game, similar to Trocheck, you can see him. He's making impact. You walk away, you could feel his impact. You could see him getting to the net, getting chances, getting opportunities a lot more than he has in his previous couple years with the team, obviously after getting drafted. But it's been such a good line. And Panarin just like he continues to dominate as well. Trocheck, just back to Trocheck here for a second. I was looking. I think he has a good chance of surpassing his career high. You talked about 80-point season. He had 75 points in 2017, 2018 when he was with Florida, where he spent the first part of his career with. Where do you see him surpassing that 70 and getting to 80? Because he's primarily been the 60-point guy, around 40 to 50 his final 2 years in Carolina, and then he was 60. I think it's 64 last year with the Rangers. I think it was 22 and 20 or 22 and 42. I think he had 22 goals, 42 assists. I think 80 this year is definitely in play for
100%, especially he's on the power play. I mean, I feel like he can just get a point on that power play, like with a face-off win.
Yeah, no doubt. So second line continues to play well. Rangers came away with this game 4-3. So you then move into the San Jose Sharks game, which is interesting because going into this game, my expectation was second half of a back-to-back. The Rangers coming off an emotional road win against Nashville, who for some reason seems to just play us really well, because one of our worst games this year came up against Nashville early in the season, obviously at MSG. I thought this was going to be one of these like low scoring 2-1 games where it's kind of ugly, but the Rangers find a way to get the job done. And that wasn't the case. This was a very highly entertaining game. It was similar to that Bruins game, not quite as much entertainment just because it's San Jose and they're not the Bruins, but 6-5, and the Rangers almost blew this game late. What was your expectations going to this game? Because to me, this had like one of these look ahead, like kind of
trap
games. Yeah, exactly. Trap game. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for all over it.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought too. I mean, Sunday, it wasn't like afternoon. I think it was a 6:00 start, but yeah, like a late Sunday game. Again, they just played the last night against the Predators. So, I mean, again, it could be a letdown game. The San Jose's coming off a good win, I think, against the Devils.
Yeah,
so they got like that.
Well.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing good. Yeah, I think they won like last night or 2 nights ago. They came back and beat the Islanders, so they're playing well. I mean, they're not as bad as they were at the beginning of the season, so you can't really like look ahead of anybody. I thought again they gave way too many chances in this game. I guess like if you want to say like that would be the team to do it against, because they're not great, but I mean you really should be able to play shutdown against them. But regardless of any defense in this game or how bad it was, we got to talk about Artemi Panarin.
Yeah.
Like, what an insane game by him. Like, I have never seen that dude ever go and crash the net for like rebounds.
Yeah.
Dude had 2 goals of him crashing the net. Like, that's
He's
crazy,
man.
I can't believe. Yeah, like I don't know if you saw like at the end of the game. I think on their Instagram, like they gave him the hat or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, Kreitz, won't be doing that in front of the net anymore. I want to take your goals."
No, he never does that.
I'm so impressed with Artemi Panarin. I mean, he dominated that game. Like he could easily had like 3 more goals.
Yeah, no doubt. He 16 goals on the season. He continues to just dominate. Like I was shocked when he was getting in front of the net, but I liked it. I think he might have realized too, it's San Jose. We got to find a way to score. He saw chances, he saw opportunities get into the net and didn't take the opponent lightly. And he's just continues to dominate and play super well. And yeah, the hats flying onto the ice, first star of the game. I mean, what are like realistic stats expectations for the rest of the year for him? Like he might honestly end up as many points as the Rangers will. That's what's crazy.
I think it'll be I think if he stays healthy, hopefully, I think he's going to beat I think it's 125, I think. Is that what Yager has? I think he's gonna break
I
that.
think so. It's something. It was like 124, 125.
He'll get like 130, I think, and he'll be around like I think 40, 90. I
Yeah,
think
he's
that
definitely surpassing 40, I
he'll
think.
score 40 goals this year, which there's definitely a realistic chance he scores 50. Just how he keeps shooting the puck, because I think he's second in the league in scoring.
If he keeps going to the net,
I don't know
or
who
starts
else
going
is
to the
in
net.
front of him as far as goals, because I think Besser is, but he might be right behind him.
Yeah,
But
because
I mean,
he's tied for fourth. I think Kucherov's up there, Nikita Kucherov.
yeah, he's got
I
like an
think they've
insane
got
amount.
7. I think he's got 17.
I think he's got like 45 points this year, which is absurd.
Yeah. And I think
But I mean,
is Sam Reinhart, I think, too, from Florida. I think he's up there,
I
too.
think he's got around like 15 or 16. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't realistically, is he going to score 40? Probably not. But I mean, I think he'll guarantee he 100% unless some injury happens, going to get over 100. And I think he's really going to press the Ranger point record.
Yeah, no doubt. He's on his way. I mean, his career high is 20 or 32, which he had in 2019. His
Chicago
first with them.
or with the Rangers. That was his career high goals.
Yeah, because then his second most was in Chicago, and he had back-to-back 30-plus seasons his first 2 years, and then he's obviously last 3 seasons he hasn't been able to hit 30 again. But I could see easily 40. I mean, he's like, he's never been this much of a shot first mentality player, and now he's got that shot first mentality, and maybe he'll have some more fun and run or skate to the net a little bit more and get some of those Kreider goals. But he's just been so exciting to watch, and another guy that has just completely benefited from Lavalette being here, and you could see that shot first mentality, and it's been really fun. And another guy too, that second line. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Where would this team be right now without Panarin? I mean, he's been that good. It's crazy.
They probably would still be in the playoff hunt, but I don't think they'd be in first.
No, definitely not. They probably wouldn't be in first without that. They would be. Where would they be without that second line?
Yeah, that line is carrying the team. I think they desperately need Filipino to come back.
Yeah,
because I would put honestly. I don't know if it sounds crazy. I'd put him on the first line, and I'd put him on the wing.
What are your thoughts on Brodinski? He's been. I've liked what he's brought. I mean, he's played better than. I don't want to be mean, but like he's made more of an impact in 4 games than Kakko did all season.
Dude, 100% agree. Like I think he's been the best guy that's been on that line. Better than Wheeler, better than Kakko. He's fast. The dude's got like a motor. Like that guy is always going 100 miles an hour, which I don't know if it's going to be able to be sustained. I mean, he's probably got extra energy trying to prove himself in the NHL. But I think he, to some degree, can maintain that because I think that is his style of play. Like he's fast. He just shoots the puck. Like he's got such a quick release. I don't think that's obviously not the long-term answer at the first line right wing, but
no.
I think for now it's okay. But I think he's an NHL player. I think it's kind of like confusing why he's not on an NHL roster.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I think he's. I mean, look, they tried Wheeler there, but I think it may have. Wheeler probably you can make the argument they could have did this a whole lot earlier, even before Heedle. Wheeler's. I don't want to be Wheeler.
Dude, I didn't even know Wheeler played in the not the Senators game, in the Sharks game. I didn't even know he played.
Which game was that?
Honest with you. The one after they made the switch where they put Brodzinski up on the first line. No idea. I had no idea Wheeler played.
Yeah, no, he's been. When let's say when Kakko comes back, do you just if Brodzinski's playing this well, you've got to cut bait with Wheeler. You can't
Wheeler will
you've
be
got 3 guys for 2 spots.
I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna add a top 6 forward at the deadline. Very worst, the top 9. They're gonna add someone that can probably come up and play the second line, but depending on what Kakko is and how he's playing, they're definitely gonna add a top 9 guy. I think that Bonino's a lock. This is saying everybody's healthy. Bonino is going to be on the playoff roster if they make the playoffs, but they should. Yeah, so Bonino center, I'd go Gaudreau and VC. Those guys are all locks. And as far as the third line, I guess whatever you want to do as far as center, I assume right now probably would be Heedle,
right? Yeah.
Coley, and then Kakko. So the only, like I said, I think Wheeler's the only guy that's not like guaranteed to be on this team.
I agree.
Just the fact of he's not a fourth line player, so yeah, I wouldn't.
Drury has done a lot really good, but look, it was a cheap contract, but he's
It
just
was
been
a no risk. It was a no risk move
yeah,
though. So
yeah. He's just been he's slow. Like you see him when he was trying to keep up with the first line, it was so funny.
he's
It
like a
was
mile
just
behind him now.
yeah, he's just slow. He's not good in transition. They trying to play that like he's more playing that like that east-west type game as opposed to north-south. Like he can't play north-south again. Like he'll get toasted against the Devils if they ever met against them in the postseason. Just thinking way down the line. So
They'll
would you
probably end
ever
up, I wouldn't say
yeah, what
cutting
was you
him,
gonna say?
but they're definitely probably going to move on from him. I don't know how they're going
Yeah.
to go about it, but
Can
if I
maybe
had to
get
guess, he won't be on the team May or whatever it is, April 15th, whenever the first game is.
yeah. I think you could probably get him for something, bag of chips, maybe.
Unless he's
Something.
okay being like a scratch, which I
Yeah.
don't think he would want to, but if he's okay with that, then I could see him being on the roster, but I don't see him being on a healthy lineup. But again, it was a no risk
No.
move.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a little disappointing. But again, it's hard to be disappointed when the Rangers are in first place. So
No, yeah, definitely. Totally agree. And every team's gonna have their strengths and weaknesses. That just seems to kind of be the weakness there. So going into last night's game where the Rangers were able to get the job done against San Jose, you go into the Senators game. The Senators, they oftentimes talk about sometimes the more desperate team wins. And for the Senators' sake, they are kind of, I don't want to say they're desperate yet because it's still early in the season. They're only 20 games in, but they've lost 3 straight going into that game, or they've lost 3 of their last 4 because they beat Seattle. Ottawa had a lot of expectations going into this year. I know I was kind of on board with the Tarasenko move was really solid. They've obviously already got I can't pronounce the name.
Chikrin.
Kachuk. Yeah, Chikrin as well. They've got some pieces and they've struggled. So this was kind of one of these games where they just put their foot on the gas and dominated. What were your thoughts on this? Because the Rangers came out flat and it was ugly on the road. It doesn't really surprise me that this happened. Ottawa at home, a team that's struggling, trying to find a groove, put their foot on the gas against the best team in the league.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a multitude of things you can look at here. Like one, again, they're struggling. They're at home, and I think
nobody was there.
But the big thing now, I think the Rangers have to deal with is they kind of have like a target on their back because when you go in and you plan against like the Sharks, it's like
even the Sabres,
the Sharks, whatever. Like I mean, teams that are struggling, it's not like as big as like I feel like the teams, regardless of how bad you are or where your status is, you elevate your game, or I feel like you at least try to against the better team. So I think the Rangers are gonna have teams coming at them now. They're gonna get the best every night. So I mean, you really can't take any nights off, especially when you're gonna be at the top of the league as a contender. But I mean, I've said this before, like you're gonna have off nights. It does seem like a little bit of a trend though, as we were talking, how they're giving up a lot of chances. I think they were like leaving Igor out to dry, but they got to respond. I mean, again, it's not a game that you can just like, okay, it's a game, we'll forget about it. It's a game that you got to like look at and like, hey, this can't happen again. We can learn from this, but it's kind of unacceptable to be giving these odd man rushes in like coming into the zone and letting Igor pretty much having to save like 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s. So I don't know. I think it's something that I think could be beneficial where, I don't know, maybe if they're taking them lightly, but they just got to realize like, every night they're going to get the other team's best. So,
yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything. I think the defense hasn't played well. They also, for some reason, and again, I don't want to sound negative because they're 18-5-1, and I don't want to be like I'm complaining because this has been with the other teams I root for outside of the Yankees getting soda. The other teams I root for, they're pretty much, Jets, Nets, they're train wrecks. So the Nets are rebuilding, the Jets are a dumpster fire. So I don't want to complain because it's the only team that's winning.
We got to hold on to this. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But you make a point though. They seem to be taking some of these teams maybe a little bit lightly, like Ottawa, Buffalo. You're going to get, or not even that, but it's teams are going to give your best shot. Like Buffalo going into that game, they let up 7 the game before against the Devils. They go in, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen has the game of the life, and since that, Buffalo has lost 4 straight. So it's like that game was just kind of the odd one out. They go into MSG, win 5-1, dominate. Same thing with Ottawa. But the slow starts to me are hurting too. A lot of these games, the Rangers find themselves down, and the no quit mentality is good. But eventually,
Yeah, you can't keep that. That can't be sustained.
It's
Yeah.
not sustainable. Eventually, you got to start getting out to early 2 goal leads. You could fall down 2-0, but if you're falling down 2-0 on the road on the postseason, it's going to be a whole lot harder to come back than falling down 2-0 in Nashville in December. That's just the reality.
Especially in the playoffs, because if you go down the playoffs, like now I don't think guys are as likely to kind of put their body on the line. But like in the playoffs, like, these guys are going to be diving in front of everything, shutting things down. So it definitely is important to come out to at least. I mean, again, you're going to get goalies on like hot nights, but like
I feel like that happens.
Play good defense and come out firing. I think you got to come off the better starts, regardless of I think if you score or not. I think you just got to play good early on to set a tone.
Yeah, I feel the rain like to the defense's point. I feel they've been a little bit sloppy in the neutral zone recently. Maybe the last couple of games, there's been some turnovers, create some of those odd man rushes, but just in general, like there's so much right now. There's a lot of room. I mean, there's just a lot of space in front of Igor where there's not much net front defense, and Igor's kind of left out to dry. But again, I feel like you walk away from this Ottawa game and he still made a couple 4 really good saves.
Yeah.
There was that one save he made in the third period when the game was pretty much over. It was a really nice glove save that not many guys can make. So I think a lot of it's defense more than it's Igor, but it's just they're playing. They're a little like sloppy when it comes to defensively. They're just kind of lackadaisical, a little slow, I guess if that's the right word, but hopefully he can start to get cleaned up here a little bit more. But what are your thoughts on the power play in this game, Ottawa? They had a 5-on-3 opportunity, and the Rangers this season have been really good about the shot first mentality. And I thought that one power play where they were 5-on-3, there was a couple chances they were right in front of net and they were passing up shots. Like, what are your thoughts on if you can comment on that at all and what kind of their power play has been doing?
I mean, the power play has been arguably the best in the league, so I'm not going to take too much into that. I feel like if you're going to have a game to not do great on the power play, I think they still scored a power play goal, I believe.
I think they did. I think it was their first one.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to shoot the puck on a 5-on-3, especially when you can have possession of that, like in that much space. 1-2 passes, then it's got to be a shot, because I mean, you're not going to get that much room to have that opening for a shot, especially on the 5-on-3. You got to not even get a shot is insane. I mean, again, they're probably pressing, trying to get like the perfect pass off. They were down at that point. I think maybe they were down by 2 at that point. Maybe it's 4-2. But again, I'm not too concerned on the special teams have been fine. I mean, they're not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
The power play, we have the guys. That I think that's the biggest thing is if you're winning games and the power play is not going, like you have the guys. So you get into the playoffs, those guys, like they've got chemistry. They've been playing with each other. I'm not concerned at all about that.
No, I'm not either. It was just one of those things where they 5-on-3 in this game. You would have liked to see it, but no, I mean, this guy's not falling. The team's not 5-18-1. They're 18-5-1. So still a lot to like, but definitely some things to clean up. And today at practice, Lavalette seemed to have a pretty tough practice. And that's something that I trust so much more with him than Gallant. He would have just done the same thing over and over and over again when his team seemed a little bit lackadaisical on defense. Like Lavalette, next practice, it's tough. It's rough. It's a lot more, skating up and down and all that stuff, a lot more physicality, which that's why I trust like some of these little bumps in the road a little bit are not going to be as long as they've been in previous years because you have a coach that can make the adjustments. And that's why I trust that we'll be definitely all right. And we're fine anyway. So just a quick question here before we get into this week. What are your thoughts on the new unis?
I like the logo. I think that just itself, I think the logo, they can do a better job. I think the logo should be on the jersey. I don't know if it's going to be like a third or whatever, but on this particular jersey, the logo looks ginormous.
Yeah,
I just think it looks way too big,
especially on the captain.
Yeah, you see, like it's so close.
The C is like on top of the Rangers logo.
Maybe my thing is I'm not going to judge it yet because with the other ones with the reverse retros, I thought at first, and then the ones from I think they were last year, the lighter blue ones. I think they look really nice with the full uniform. So I kind of want to see the jersey with the socks, the gloves, the helmet, the pants.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think people kind of were hating on it. It's like it's a jersey. Like, what do you want the Rangers really to do with it? Like, they're kind of just like
Yeah.
kind of like the Yankees, a very like basic traditional team.
It's a
There's
blue
not really
shirt.
much.
Simple.
I mean, besides like the Statue of Liberty, like I mean, they weren't going to do that again. That was the only thing.
That's my thing too. They can't do the Lady Liberty 3 years on a row.
Yeah.
They changed the color last year because it went from that dark blue to the more Ranger blue.
I would say I would like something on the
white
shoulders. I feel like all their jerseys
these,
just have the blank on the
Yeah.
uniforms. Like I think like a red shoulder pad or like just the top would look nice because I feel like a lot of times if you don't have anything on like the shoulder, kind of looks like a practice jersey. So.
What are your thoughts on wearing the blue lids on the road? A lot of teams do that. Like the Sharks, their teal
they look
lids.
Nice. I thought they looked nice. Yeah,
the Hurricanes do it too. They got the red ones on the road.
The
they
Devils
wear their
did it too.
Devils.
Saw that the other day.
I wouldn't mind seeing the blue ones on the road. It matches probably match pretty well with
you
the
think
white.
It would? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty cool. It seems to be a pretty popular thing now. Like, I don't really know if I remember all these teams always doing it. I feel like it's
what about a red helmet for the road?
Oh God, that'd be disgusting. I would not do that.
No,
I don't know.
I like the road uniform.
No, yeah, the road uniforms are nice. They're fine. I mean, they're pretty much just the same except white.
I like they have like the nice like shoulder thing with like the red stripe and the blue on top.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at my Lundqvist bobblehead to my right has the road unis.
I think I'm gonna get one for Christmas. I want to get one of the white ones. I have like every single jersey. I don't have a white one though. I think the white ones.
Yeah. When you go to games, you see a lot of them. The road unis they're a nice change from just the typical because everyone always gets the blues. Like it's nice to get a change, but I don't know. I still think I think it was the 2018 Winter Classic against the Sabres at Citi Field. Those uniforms were so nice. The ones where it was
like the bold Rangers going down. It was like
it was the navy blue ones.
Navy blue, and then it was like Rangers going down, or with the Rangers across.
It was
I know it was like bold. Like the text was like pretty bold.
It was like it was white, and it had the NY shield or whatever it was, right, left. If you remember, those were so nice. And then the ones they wore at Yankee Stadium a while back when they played the Devils and the Islanders.
I didn't like those. The white ones that had that just said New York on it going down the crest.
They weren't. I thought they were decent because they had the Rangers patch on the shoulders, I think. But then the ones that were
I like
really
the heritage ones. Those were my favorite ones.
Flyers when they played them.
Those were nice too. That like was like cream, and like they kind of did like a modification to the logo, the crest, where it was like kind of like more like
old
circular at the bottom. Like it wasn't as like kind of like a box or like a square. But I like the ones if you remember, and like it was like the 85th anniversary heritage ones, where it was like kind of like navy, and it just said New York down the jersey. Those were my favorite Rangers jerseys back in like I'd say from 2013 to like
those were nice. Yeah, I have a Lundqvist jersey of those. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I like those. Those were nice.
I forgot about those. Those are probably my favorite too then, because I completely forgot about those. Yeah, with the New York and it was the navy blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. They stopped some of the jerseys. They stopped doing when they switched over to Adidas from Reebok.
I wonder how long they'll have these jerseys, the third ones. You think they're gonna have them for like a while now? Because I feel like a lot of teams have like
probably
third jerseys every year. Like the Devils got the jersey. You know that one where it just has a jersey on it. I kind of like it. I think it's funny.
And then they got the hat that says hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's
a lot of teams
the rest of the year.
A lot of teams have a consistent third jersey. So maybe they'll make this in. What are your thoughts? What about a red jersey?
Ugh.
I think that looks cool. I don't know
because they're blue. Like it's almost like the Giants when they had those ugly, hideous red jerseys they used to wear. Like they're called the big blue. Like the Rangers are called blue shirts. I don't know. I'm just not a. I don't know.
It's part of the color scheme. You figure that they'd use it.
Yeah, it is.
Like I think most teams use all.
I like the navy blue personally. I think that's sometimes like if you make a good jersey out of the navy blue, and I think that's sometimes it could even be better than
the color that they're using for thirds now, like that kind of a color.
Yeah, or even more like the ones with the New York, like you're talking about,
the heritage
stopped wearing, recently or a couple years ago. Yeah, Those were nice. They complement well with the red choice.
Maybe those they should bring back. I don't know.
I wouldn't be against it. I don't know why they ever got away from those.
I don't know, because originally it was their uniforms for the 85th season. Those were their permanent home uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
When there was like the anniversary or whatever. And then the next year, I think they continued just to wear it as a third up until maybe like 2017. But it was a nice jersey though. Like they did a really nice, like it's simple. I think the Rangers do a good job when they're just simple.
Yeah. So. I like simple jerseys. I'm not a fan of all these complex. I mean, with all the reverse retro stuff now, there's so many teams with all these different jerseys.
1,000 jerseys. The Rangers like only have like I can only think of like 6 in the last like 20 years.
Devils with the all black. What about an all black jersey?
I don't know. That doesn't really go though with the Rangers.
That would be ugly. Yeah,
it's not like part of like they don't have that in their color scheme.
No,
like the Devils at least have black, red, and white.
Yeah.
So,
but anyway, any other closing thoughts before we close things out here?
No. Just like I think for the most part, everybody's healthy. I mean. And you don't really know what's going to happen with the Hedl and Kakko, kind of just nothing really much on them. I think that, again, the defense could be a little bit better, but, I mean, 8-5-1. I think they have like a 771 points percentage.
Yeah.
Like, just continue to play good. Like, play good, get to the playoffs, win the Stanley Cup. Just continue to play good.
Sounds like a plan. So just quickly here before we close things out, coming up, they got another back-to-back on the weekends, which feels like every weekend so far.
Yeah. I hate when they play on Sunday. I hate hockey on Sunday.
Yeah, it's not great. That'll be the debut of the new unis on Sunday against the Kings, but before that, they'll head to DC for a Saturday matchup against the Capitals, and then Tuesday they'll welcome Austin Matthews and the Toronto Maple Leafs to town for a matchup there at MSG, which should be a lot of fun. So good games coming up. Hopefully the Rangers can keep things rolling, get back onto a winning note, avoid the back-to-back losses, which they've been able to do all year long, coming up this Saturday against DC. That's episode 10 of Talking Rangers. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.